Back into the weekly and we're messing with Old Mouse. Old Mouse creates a random toy that serves as a mini quest, and in exchange for completing it, you get really good stats out of it. We're specifically hoping to find the Rosebud to combo with Salmon of Knowledge, and if we're even luckier, we could use this with Macaques to get really large units early. Let's get into it. You get an okay power spike there. Level 2 Stork feels really good. Level 2 Goose is kind of a big whatever. Yeah, it doesn't do anything here. We get really nice breakpoints. Is it going to make the difference? It's absolutely not. If we back Dimetrodon... No, I don't think there is a way to make that happen. Sacking order doesn't matter because we're doing a level up there. Okay, so we're selling out of the Goose so that I can cycle the Cockatoo. Do I back something else other than the Pheasant, please? No. Yeah, Pheasant's really good for the tempo. Just don't look at the fact that I keep misusing it. Like, look at all those stats that we get back. Oh, it's so good. It is so good. Yep, makes sense. We didn't want to keep overstacking stats. So I'm in this weird spot now where I don't really want to summon a 5/5 Dimetrodon. I'd rather just have the Cockatoo, because it's almost a 5/5 on its own. And I can't use the Dimetrodon with the Macaque here, because the Macaque needs more stats to trigger before the Dimetrodon. Otherwise, the Dimetrodon will fill up the space. So I'm not really sure what I want to do here to make this happen. And we just take a canned food. I think really what we're hoping for here is to find a turkey. Find a turkey, and then get onto a more sensible board. Oh my god, and we win that. That is insane. That is a team that we should not be winning against. And then we get this really cracked shop. So we say, goodbye, give me a Salmon of Knowledge. Hello, give me another Salmon of Knowledge. And we have the squad now. So I probably should have put the chocolate onto the Macaque there, since we'd get just a massive power spike. We'd be getting level 3 Macaque, level 3 Dimetrodon, both summoning in battle. Which is insanely good. But we aren't punished here, right? No, we're punished. Yeah, I should have played safer on that rather than trying to greed a level 3 achievement on Salmon of Knowledge. Because I do not have many of the achievements and I would like more of them. Probably could have cycled the Cockatoo, probably could have bought the cotton candy there, but I'm really looking for equipment now. I'm not sure why, when Peanut Butter is probably the best that we can do. It's also really awkward to stack this team, because the only guy I can reasonably stat is the Salmon of Knowledge. If I stat anybody else, I run the risk of them triggering before the Salmon of Knowledge. I think Churro is in this pack, but I didn't consider using it. I'd rather have equipment that does stuff. The Durian could have been really good, potentially. But instead, we're getting Pancakes, which trigger on one unit to 2 other units, because I trigger at start of battle before everything else goes off. Yeah, the Pancakes are kind of awful. Do we make this? Oh, we make this. So we're at 7 wins with this ridiculous team. And now all we can do is look for stats. So we have more attack on the Macaque. We could technically replace the Macaque now. Or we could add a new unit into the mix and not worry about Dimetrodon squeezing out Macaque summon, because it's a higher attack than the Dimetrodon. I'm a little bit scared of overstatting, so I decided to stat the Salmon of Knowledge there instead. And that's a giant centipede. Yeah, we just get nailed down by that. And I still have the rest of their team there. So while these summons are huge, they're not necessarily huge enough. Am I risking anything with pancakes here on triggers? I feel like I might be. I think the Macaque and the Salmon of Knowledge have the same attack after pancakes. I think I did risk that. Oh no. Oh, that's scary. I mean, we lose regardless. We could have potentially won that with better snake snipes, but yeah, this is a really cool attempt at this. I don't think this is viable because the summons just aren't quite big enough. Maybe if I had another Macaque here instead of the Dimetrodon. So Nick from the future here. Hi. Wow, what a surprise. We run this back because I noticed some fun, cheeky scaling options with the old mouse that I haven't seen explored for this weekly yet. I saw Metabros video on using goat plus the money relic, the harp, from the old mouse in order to cycle 12 gold, spend all of that, get a bunch of stats, basically treat it as a budget bird of paradise. But I noticed, hey, Salmon of Wisdom doesn't make a lot of sense in this pack. And there's a couple of pets that actually work really well with the Salmon of Wisdom. One of them is kind of sneaky, is the old mouse, and the other one is the macaque. So I thought if we can get a solid enough run, maybe we can make that work. It's not good. It's definitely not good, but it is very cool. So we have a very, very heavy trumpet start here. Typically, I think you either have to go a lot of trumpets early to keep up tempo, or you need to have good summons. Alternatively, Kanga chains can sometimes do it, but it's not super consistent. Just because if one of the units gets wiped, or if the opponent has a level 2 Tamarin, there's a very good chance of the kangaroos just dying. That being said, I will not be deterred from having another kangaroo in here instead. We sell out of the groundhog because despite me lamenting the fact that Tamarin is here to snipe these guys at the perfect breakpoint, they're still really good to keep for a minute. And it works really well if you're statting a unit. Oh, I think that's the only use I've seen for Patu as well. I just noticed that their Patu triggered, and it only was able to trigger because they had an egg, which counts as before attack. That's actually kind of funny. Is there any other way to trigger it besides that and Mantis? I don't think so, right? What a weird pet. Does not fit in this pack at all. I've also really liked the Sugar Glider here. Sugar Glider feels really, really good because it lets me essentially have a hatching chick that I can target without having to have more awkward positioning than strictly necessary. I can also delay the hatching chick buff as well, which is really interesting. And it counts as a food trigger. Not that I've been able to really leverage the food trigger to any effect. There's technically an old mouse toy that does work with food triggers, but having 3 Sugar Gliders on a board to make that work seems not good. But it is an idea. So I get this Muskox in, and it is immediately huge because of the Sugar Glider buff. But I consider going for level 2 on it, but we see another Sugar Glider, and I'd rather honestly push for level 2 on Sugar Glider because it gives me more tempo. Because I'm lucky if I get +3/+3 in battle off of Kangaroo or Muskox's abilities. So Sugar Glider feels really good. We tie there because of bad positioning. I don't think I fix it because we get a whole bunch of sugar gliders here. And we get a macaque here. Now, do I sell to make space for it? I do sell to make space for it. Very good. I wasn't convinced I would do it. And we get a blue-footed booby in here as well, so this feels like a really, really solid start. And I know I want to try and do some cheeky old mouse stuff, so we have that guy frozen while we get some permanent equipment onto our macaque. Now, the astute among you may have noticed the problem with this, is that we are not going to get a watermelon onto our macaque. We get it onto the orangutan, which does very well with it, but it's not quite good enough to make it over the line. And so we just basically wasted that turn, unfortunately. So I recognize what we need to do here is we need to flood the board in order to prevent the orangutan from summoning. I throw the cupcake onto the macaque to hopefully make it actually do something with the melon slice's turn. And we just in the nick of time get enough gold to buy level 2 blue-footed booby, which feels very, very, very nice. So we're gonna get a really good piece of equipment onto our macaque here. It actually lets it almost trade with the centipede. Not that we're handling the rest of the team. This team is very, very weak at this point. No stats, very awkward. And we get level 2 macaque immediately, which is so good. I'm not exactly sure whether I want to splash this cupcake or who's staying on the team. And I decided to sell out of the blue-footed booby as well as the Honduran white bat, I imagine. Yeah. Primarily because there's just not space on the team to really go for the higher level old mouse. And I want to get the higher level old mouse here. So it's either blue-footed booby or the Honduran white bat. The Honduran white bat has a bit more utility, so we hang on to him. And those double melon slice triggers, oh, it's so good. It's so good. So we get our salmon of wisdom in here. And do I cupcake salmon of wisdom or do I, ooh. This guy ain't it. So the issue there is that the trigger for the salmon of knowledge, salmon of wisdom. What is he? What is your name? But he's gonna go after the macaque trigger because they're both start a battle. Salmon of knowledge. Yeah, so he gives experience to the orangutan, which is +2/+2. It's not worth it. I'd rather summon a bigger orangutan instead, please and thank you. We're hoping for the old mouse to give us the rosebud, which gives us experience for leveling up two pets in battle. Hey look, I'm not learning my mistake either. We're continuing to throw stats onto the macaque here. I know the reason why I was doing it in the battle is because, oh, this guy has good protective equipment. I want to take advantage of that. But, the bigger orangutan's definitely worth it. Dude, snake teams scare me so bad in this pack. They're so scary. But we scrape a draw because we have insane equipment. The melon slice is just absurdly good here. I think I cycled the angler here just to force a trigger. And I no longer have access to cupcakes to mess up with. But yeah, we're able to barely afford all the things that we want. And we don't actually care about any more macaques at this point. We got all our guys. And I'm optimistically freezing this flying squirrel in hopes of, hey, do we get the rosebud? And in that case, I can sell out of the old mouse and try to get level 2 on him to just get more stats on the team until we're like good to go, you know? And instead we see more old mice. We get a mission here to sell a bunch of pets. So instead I prioritize doing that for +2/+2 on the entire team. It's probably Probably worth 6 gold to do that. And for some reason, I wall check in the old mouse. For some reason, my brain's going, oh, I need to make sure this triggers first. I think I just thought the Stamina Wisdom, Stamina Knowledge was all the way in the back. And it was in fact not. Shockingly close. Shockingly close, given that they had level 3 Macaque as well. And now we've got the Rosebud. So what this does is 2 friendly level ups, break and give all friends +2/+2 permanently. Because of the Salmon of Knowledge, we're guaranteed to break it in battle here. And I don't know why I freeze this angler. I think I'm just planning to potentially angle Hakatu maybe? Just more stats. They don't really have anything for me to steal here. And so now we have permanent scaling courtesy of the Salmon of Knowledge until we run out of triggers on that. They've got another turn with it. I, at this point, am not really that serious about getting the Flying Squirrel because it would mean giving up a lot of tempo. I'd have to sacrifice a 32-32? 36-36? How big are these boys? Yeah, they're going to be 36-36 on the board for the orangutan, so it's just not worth it. We need to win quickly. And if we're trying to scale, greeting +1/+1 on everything, effectively a sushi, we're going to end up in the sewers as everybody else's team scale out of control, because the teams can get crazy this weekly. We take out I'm So Mad. Goodbye, 07s. And I go pushing for the salmon achievement here because I don't actually have it yet. So we're just hoping that, hey, maybe we can hit this. And we don't. Take some extra stats. And 2 lives, 9 wins. Really hoping to close it out quickly here. And this team doesn't have a crazy amount of stats. Maybe we'll be fine against it. But they have Nurse Shark, Nyala, and honestly, into stats, Nurse Shark goes kind of crazy. So it's looking pretty dicey. But we barely lose to their Stamina Wisdom at the end. I'm never going to call it something consistent. But at this point I recognize, okay, the only way they can get stronger is pulling a fairy and then just cycling some bare bone stats. No better equipment there, nothing worth grabbing. So we just roll down. And we gotta hope that this is good enough. And honestly, this team looks more intimidating than the last one. They have a lot of really good ability pets on the board. Just inherently look scary. And it just comes down to our salmon is big. Our salmon got huge. And we managed to make it over. So between the really good equipment from the blue-footed booby and the scaling from the mouse, we get it done.